Yeah, yeah. All right. We are just hours away from the CNBC Republican debate with less than a year until the election. What do the American people really want to hear? Joining us now is D.D. Myers, former press secretary to the Clinton administration, and Kevin Madden served as Mitt Romney's press secretary during the 2008 presidential campaign. Are you watching? Do you watch these, D.D., very closely?
Not as closely as Kevin Madden watches them, but yeah, I pay attention. You want to know who the competition is out there, and it's interesting.
It is. It is. Well, let me ask you that. Do you think that the presumptive nominee at this point, Dee, is Mitt Romney?
Yeah, I mean, every sort of political instinct I have says that it's Mitt Romney, except for one problem, which is that he can't seem to convince more than 25, 26, 27% of the Republican base that he's the right guy. He certainly looks like the toughest opponent for President Obama. He matches up best in many ways, but the Republican base is just not in love with this guy.
With someone with your political background, and when we say, or someone like in your position says the Republican base, isn't that a huge selling point for you, that the Republican base doesn't like this guy with the way you feel about the Republican base?
Well, yeah, I think that makes him a stronger general election candidate. I think he's less objectionable to moderate Republicans and independents. And, you know, this race, like many others, will be about independents, those voters in the middle who swing back and forth. So it makes him a stronger general election opponent in a lot of ways, but you got to get through the primaries, and the primaries are a base-driven operation.
Yeah. Kevin, you know Mitt Romney very well.
Right.
I'll ask you the same question. You probably say yes, he is a presumptive nominee at this point, in spite of the 25%.
Well, look, I think I'm very happy that Dee is optimistic, but you know, I'm almost trained to be to make sure that you don't be very presumptuous in this business. That what you have to do is you have to go out and you have to earn the nomination. And I think that everybody in Boston, that's their mindset. What are they going to do every single day to help grow their vote, to help persuade voters who haven't yet made up their mind? I mean, as far as the idea that there's this 25% ceiling, you know, I don't agree with that. I think that many voters right now have a lot of choices before them, and as they have those choices, they're going to look at a whole bunch of different candidates. But in this critical phase now, where we're, you know, 50, 60 days away from some of the first contests in places like Iowa and New Hampshire, this is where I think the campaign is going to be able to make that case to the persuadable voters that Governor Romney is the best candidate on the #1 issue, which is the economy, and that he's the best candidate to beat Barack Obama in a general election.
So, Dee, who would be, if it's not him, who could it be? Huntsman still? Could he get some traction? Or what about Newt? Dorothy Rabinowitz talks about how I guess, qualified he is to be, as far as policy, to be president.
Right. He certainly has a lot of positions that are popular with the base. He also has a lot of positions that are kind of confounding. You know, if you look at the polling trend over the last couple of months, you see Newt steadily gaining a little traction as the Republican base goes through a lot of other alternatives. We saw, you know, the romance with Michelle Bachmann, and then the romance with romance with Herman Cain. As each of these has fallen apart, somebody else has risen, and that could be Newt Gingrich. I think there's at least the possibility that there'll be one more a conservative alternative to Mitt Romney. I don't think that person is John Huntsman. He's Democrats' favorite Republican. I think that's a problem for him. You know, he's appealing to people in the middle, but not to people on the right.
Dee, is Hillary going to run as vice president?
No, Joe Biden will be the running mate for President Obama next November.
Okay. Well,
no doubt about it.
No question.
No question. Do you agree with that, Kevin? Or?
I absolutely agree. I am endlessly fascinated, as I'm sure Dee is, of the chatter that takes place in Washington. These things used to happen where they talked about Hillary Clinton replacing Biden as a VP. They used to happen at 3 martini lunches, and they would end there. And now, for some reason, everybody talks about them.
Maybe because people are dissatisfied with the current ticket?
I guess. Look, I mean, Hillary Clinton, who went through a very tough primary with Barack Obama, has sort of been rejuvenated in the eyes of many Democrat voters, but also so many independents and Republicans, so many Democrats and Republicans who really do reward her for the good job she's done. They believe at the State Department.
Well, it's a little buyer's remorse. I mean, I've seen a lot of
and we would all sleep much better if we had Hillary Clinton as president, even as Republicans, versus Barack Obama.
From the left.
Yeah, hindsight is always 20/20, and Hillary did do very well in the primaries in some of the states that are critical and where President Obama is not strongest, places like Ohio and Pennsylvania, where this election will turn.
Right.
But She doesn't want to do it. You know, Vice President Biden is also strong in those states. The president's going to remain loyal to the guy who brought him to the dance, and you know, you'll see the same ticket.
Dee Dee, I can tell you, we have people in here all the time, obviously a lot of business leaders, and a lot of them have said, I couldn't vote for Perry. I probably couldn't vote for Kaine, but a lot of them that are sort of middle of the road, they said, but I could vote for Romney. So that is that is kind of scary, I think, for as far as independent might be the ticket. Anyway.
Right, he does seem the most electable.
Right. All right. Well, I appreciate it.
I agree.
Good to see you. All right. I bet you do, Kevin. All right, thanks. Make sure to watch that. And Dee Dee, thanks. CNBC's Republican presidential debate tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern. I can watch just 20 minutes, maybe 15 minutes. Watch.